Trump posting to Truth Social just moments ago, quote, "I am pleased to report that the U.S. and Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East."
Whoa. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey, does that catch you by surprise?
Absolutely. This is a major development. President Trump taking to Truth Social, not only to say there are very good and productive conversations taking place between the United States and Iran, but he goes on to say he's ordered the Department of War to postpone for at least 5 days strikes against Iran's energy and power infrastructure. This comes after the president issued that ultimatum over the weekend about opening the Strait of Hormuz. We don't have any additional information at this point into the president's thinking about this, but this is a president who has applied immense pressure on the Iranian regime through thousands of airstrikes over the past 3 weeks. And this, again, is a president who in the past has indicated he prefers a diplomatic option when one is available. The images you see here are Iranian ballistic missiles soaring through the skies of Israel over the weekend. There were dozens of attacks that took place, the Israelis striking back against Iran's storage facilities for these missiles, going after many of not only the production lines, but where they keep these missiles and launchers. We understand they've been quite successful in those strikes, although the Iranians are still able to get off much of the incoming missile fire here to Israel. In the city of Arad over the weekend, we visited there yesterday, more than 100 people were wounded in a single Iranian ballistic missile attack. But while the focus was there in the south of Israel, regional focus also on the Strait of Hormuz, where President Trump referenced over the weekend the possibility of conducting additional strikes that appear now to be off the table, at least for 5 days. I asked Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about that post.
President Trump said that if in 48 hours the Iranians don't open the Strait of Hormuz, that there will be strikes against the power grids in Iran. Will you participate in those strikes, and what do you think should happen next in this campaign?
I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and whatever we do together, and as far as possible in confidence.
So again, the president just breaking some news this morning saying that there will be a 5-day delay to any strikes on Iran's power and energy infrastructure. The Israelis not just looking to the east, but also north to the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. You can see some of the exchanges of fire there in southern Israel, as a top spokesperson for the Israeli military said this about the length of the campaign.
The citizens of Israel, more weeks of fighting against Iran and Hezbollah are expected for us. With each passing day, we are weakening the terror regime more and more. We will not allow the terror regime and its proxies to constitute a threat against Israeli citizens and against the existence of the State of Israel.
Again, though, the headline today, President Trump saying in a post on Truth Social just minutes ago that the United States and Iran have had very good and productive conversations over the past 2 days. And again, President Trump is ordering the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to delay any strikes against Iran's power or energy infrastructure for at least 5 days. Guys?
So we're still waiting, Trey, on any response from the Iranians, because the foreign minister yesterday said, I'm not interested in talking to the U.S. He usually is the spokesperson that does the American shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you have two relatively moderate voices within the Iranian regime that are still alive, the foreign minister and also Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian. Many of the hardliner Shia clerics have been taken out in Israeli and American strikes over the past 3 weeks. But there still is this underlying message that we have seen from the IRGC and other officials in Iran that they want to continue the fight. And so we'll have to do some reporting to determine currently what the situation looks like at what appears to be a negotiating table and whether or not the Iranians are serious about creating and referencing a deal with the United States.
Ainsley, I know you're going to read that full statement, but I want to ask Trey, because you just talked about a lot of the leadership. They're gone. They're dead. Generals, foreign minister. The foreign minister is still alive. But who's the point person now? Who's the United States communicating with? Do we know that yet?
It's a great question, and we don't know that. There are a number of people who could communicate on behalf of the Iranian regime, but again, these are considered more moderate voices. And while the President Masoud Pezeshkian and others have the ability and in the past have communicated with members of the Trump administration, right now we don't know who is actually leading any sort of negotiation that's taking place. According to reports, it is not Iran's current supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who is believed to be gravely injured as a result of an Israeli strike in the opening hours of this campaign. As this is all continuing, though, the thing to look at here is a de-escalation ladder. We have seen over the past several days the Iranians continuing attacks against Israel and Gulf countries. And if they are serious about creating and adhering to a deal with the United States, you can imagine President Trump and the administration will want some assurances from the Iranian regime that they're not going to continue launching ballistic missiles and drones at U.S. allies and forces across the region.
Okay, Trey, thank you so much. Valuable information this morning. Let me read the full Truth Social that the president just released. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for 5 days, for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions.
So Pezeshkian, the president, has urged India to be an arbiter between us and them, because
Well, the president has a
India's
great-
saying, "Hey, can I use the Strait?" And there was a report yesterday, yeah, you can use the Strait for $2 million. That's not good. You cannot. No, by the end of this conflict, Iran can no longer have control of that strait. So whatever that needs to be done, that's got to be truly international waters, or else we're going to be back again as soon as we find them doing their nuclear program. We find them making intercontinental ballistic missiles. We come down on them in 3 months. They come out and say, hey, well, the strait has been mined. This all has to be resolved. I think the best thing to happen to our case for this battle was that intermediate range missile that went 2,500 miles to Diego Garcia, because it's saying Europe, I've been telling you they're building this.
Yeah.
You've not been listening to us. You think it's our problem that we're created, or we're being overzealous, so you wanted to talk. What happened? We talked. They weaponized uranium. We talked, and they made intermediate range missiles en route to doing an intercontinental range missiles.
also
Everything they've been accused of, they've been proven they
The
were done.
irony, though, we asked the UK for us to refuel Ainsley, our B-2 bombers there, and they said no.
Yes.
They said no. And they try to attack the base. Now, thankfully, we were able to intercept those missiles.
That's a U.S.-UK military base. It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's 2,000 miles off of the Iranian coast. But this is very promising. We don't know who he's dealing with. You heard Trey say that. We don't know who he's talking to, or who Steve and Jared are talking to, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. But they are doing deals. This is great news for 5 days, because he was saying tonight, at the end of the night, if the strait was not open, he gave them the warning.
Now, this doesn't say an end to the military operations. This is only the energy sites. So the military operations, if there's still terrorists out there, we can still be hitting those targets.
There are a lot of people that live in Iran that were saying, please don't do this to us. They're people
Because
that
we heard us as well.
Exactly. They're against the regime, but they don't want the energy, obviously, to be affected.
Correct.
Power's out in Tehran, most of it. And the question is, are they going to continue to hit the Gulf states' power region? You know, the gas fields, the oil fields. So we'll see where this goes. But we're not stopping. The war's not stopping.
Correct.
The sites aren't being held off, just the infrastructure.
Well, Charles Payne's going to be on with us next, and he's going to break it all down for us and talk about the gas prices, how this is going to affect your pocketbook and your family.
He's unbreakable.
He is, and he's going to join us for the breaking news coming up. Charles Payne.